This is the intro we wrote more than 4 years ago when our guest last joined us in studio, and it still makes sense, so let's just redo it. He's a stand-up comedy veteran, a Mad TV legend, and he's telling some jokes in San Francisco this weekend. Joining us live, comedian Aries Spears. 4 years later, good morning to you, Aries.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. As I mentioned, you were one of our last guests that we had live in studio before, the big bad thing happened. So what responsibility do you take for that?
None whatsoever.
Okay.
I think my people catch enough flack.
Good. In that time, though, there was a time when nothing was happening comedy-wise, but since then, you've been a busy guy.
Yeah, I guess I've been one of the few fortunate to keep working all year round. So, unfortunately, the pandemic happened and kind of put the whole world on pause. But since we've gotten past that, man, I've continued to stay busy. So I've been blessed.
Do you feel like comedy is back? Have we come back to where we were like 2019, 2020, early 2020?
I think so, and especially what's going on politically. There's enough comedic fodder now for everybody to draw from the well.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because obviously we're in the middle of the RNC right now, or tonight's the last night. We have the DNC in just a matter of a few weeks. This is on everybody's mind. It's every conversation. So as a comedian, do you go right for it? Do you avoid it? And how do you keep up with it? Because it's changing hour by hour.
Yeah, I think it kind of writes itself. So, and just my style of comedy in general is to kind of go for the jugular. I like that head-on, aggressive, no apologies approach. So, again, I know it's while it might not be too comical in nature because this is a very serious time and a moment, but at the same time, there's humor in everything.
Well, let me ask you about that because I've always wondered, as a comic, how you take critique, especially given that everybody is on everyone's social media. They're looking at any misstep that someone makes. People are very sensitive sometimes. I know there was a comment that you made recently on Instagram which got some backlash about eyelashes, and that kind of blew up. So how do you take that? How do you respond to it? How do you move on from it?
Yeah, I don't ever see it as tragic as everybody tries to make it out to be. I know that this social media age we live in, everybody's on pins and needles, which I think is part of the reason why people are yearning for hardcore comedy even more so. So, like I said, it's my style of comedy. My comedy cocaine is completely uncut. It ain't stepped on. It's 100% Bolivian yayo. So I don't know how to be any other way. So I'm gonna do my thing regardless.
Yes. Well, that is, there's a generational thing that is happening. I know that there have been some stand-up comics who won't do college shows anymore because...
Oh, I'm one of them.
Are you? Tell me about that.
Even before, it got to be, I think, somewhat of a trend. I never was big on colleges because, I didn't start out that way. I started out, in clubs with adults, and that's just always my favorite kind of audience because, I like people with battle scars, people that have been through things. And, kids, kids don't know anything. It's like when you grow up and your parents say to you guys think you know everything. You don't know what that means until you get older. And kids absolutely think they know everything and they don't have any real life experience. And my material tends to be based in human experience and life experience and things that you go through as an adult.
And this weekend, when you're here in San Francisco, what is going to be on your mind? What do you think you're going to be talking about?
A little bit of everything. Like I said, I think you can't escape completely the political landscape. So definitely a touch on politics, even though I'm not really a political comedian, but I will touch upon it. And then a bunch of other things as well. Pop culture, what's going on in the world, stuff like that.
Who do you think is the most fascinating person in the world right now?
Besides myself,
yes.
Dave Chappelle.
Expand. Tell me more.
Yeah, I think he's this generation's Richard Pryor. He's the greatest comedian alive right now, and I think the most influential and the most powerful. So I try to take my cues from the greats, and he's one of the greats.
And he has certainly stepped in it recently. He's not afraid of controversy, that is for sure, and not afraid of just continuing on doing his thing despite a lot of pushback.
Yeah, I think he said it best. Even when he caught all the flack from the transgender community based on one of his specials, and they said that they wanted to meet with him, and he said, "I will meet with you, but I will not be summoned." And I don't think you can coin it any better than that. He takes the bull by the horns, and he moves to the beat of his own drum, and he's got cojones of steel.
Aries Spears is in San Francisco starting tonight through Saturday at cobbscomedy.com. That's where you can get your information and find out what's going on with tickets. Aries, thank you again for being here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back.